As Ukraine's war nears its fourth year, the world continues to grapple with the consequences of a conflict that has reshaped not only a nation, but the very fabric of international relations. Each passing day brings new stories of hardship and resilience, reminding us that the pursuit of peace is both urgent and complex. The world is reminded how fragile peace can be. The echoes of war reverberate far beyond Ukraine's borders, affecting economies, politics, and the lives of millions across continents. The search for a lasting solution has become a global imperative, uniting nations in a shared hope for stability. The toll has been devastating: lives lost, cities shattered, and millions displaced. Families have been torn apart, communities uprooted, and the scars of violence are etched into the landscape and the hearts of those who remain. The humanitarian crisis has tested the limits of international aid and compassion. Yet, the drive for peace has never faded. Across Ukraine and around the world, people gather in rallies, hold vigils, and raise their voices for an end to the violence. Their determination is a testament to the enduring human spirit, even in the darkest of times. This week, on January 6, 2026, a pivotal summit in Paris brought Ukraine's allies together to chart a new course. The city, long a symbol of diplomacy, became the stage for renewed hope and urgent action. The world's attention turned to Paris, as journalists, diplomats, and citizens alike waited anxiously for signs of progress. The stakes had never been higher, and the sense of anticipation was palpable. Unlike past meetings, this was about action, not just words. Delegates arrived determined to move beyond symbolic gestures, seeking concrete steps that could finally shift the trajectory of the war. The leaders gathered knew that real peace demands more than promises. It needs binding commitments and robust guarantees. They debated late into the night, aware that the decisions made here could shape the future of Europe and the world. The Paris summit aimed to move from managing conflict to building its end, by defining what true security means for Ukraine and its allies. The discussions focused on not just military support, but also economic recovery, humanitarian aid, and the restoration of trust between nations. For Ukraine, that means restored borders and lasting protection. The hope is for a future where families can return home, rebuild their lives, and live without fear of renewed aggression. For its partners, it's about upholding international law and preventing wider chaos. The commitment to Ukraine's sovereignty is also a stand for the principles that underpin global order. The summit's core idea: move beyond ad hoc aid and create a long-term, legally binding security pact for Ukraine. This agreement would ensure that support is not just a temporary measure, but a lasting guarantee of safety and stability. This was a turning point, a signal that the world's democracies are ready to secure peace, not just hope for it. The applause that followed the signing of the agreement echoed the relief and optimism felt by millions. The challenge ahead is immense, but the resolve in Paris was clear. The work of building a secure future for Ukraine has truly begun. The road will be long and setbacks are inevitable, but the foundation for lasting peace has been laid. The world is watching to see if this new chapter can finally bring an end to the suffering. As history unfolds, the hope is that the lessons learned and the commitments made in Paris will inspire a new era of peace, not just for Ukraine, but for all who yearn for a safer, more just world. The Paris summit was a powerful show of unity, with leaders from over 30 nations, including President Zelensky, UK Prime Minister Starmer, President Macron, and Chancellor Merz. NATO's Secretary-General and U.S. envoys underscored the summit's global significance. The focus: formalize a peace proposal with multi-layered security guarantees for Ukraine. Discussions were concrete, no more vague promises, but real plans for Ukraine's defense. The U.S. pledged to anchor the agreement, offering not just support but leadership in monitoring and reconstruction. This summit marked a shift from short-term aid to long-term strategy, sending a clear message: Ukraine's future as a secure democracy is a shared mission. The groundwork for a durable peace was laid, built on law, military strength, and unwavering political will. The world's resolve was unmistakable: Ukraine will not stand alone. At the heart of the Paris summit was a transformative idea: the introduction of multi-layered security guarantees for Ukraine. This concept marked a significant shift in how the international community approaches collective defense and long-term stability in the region. Imagine a shield, not made of steel, but of overlapping political, legal, and military commitments, each layer reinforcing the next, creating a robust barrier against aggression. The first layer is the foundation, binding treaties. These agreements are designed to lock in allied support for Ukraine, making it resilient to changes in government or shifting political winds. No matter who is in power, the commitment remains. The second layer focuses on capability. Ukraine will receive not just advanced weapons and technology, but also the expertise to develop its own defense industry. This ensures Ukraine can stand on its own, deterring future threats and reducing reliance on outside help. The third layer is direct allied involvement. This means ongoing training for Ukrainian forces, real-time intelligence sharing, and, if necessary, the deployment of allied troops after a ceasefire to help maintain peace and stability. The UK and France, in particular, have signaled their willingness to consider sending forces to help rebuild and modernize Ukraine's military infrastructure, showing a new level of commitment from Europe's leading powers. This multinational presence would serve as a powerful deterrent, making any future attack on Ukraine a risk of direct confrontation with major powers. The sight of troops from across the world standing together sends a message that Ukraine is not alone. The message is unmistakable. Any act of aggression will be met with a united, formidable response from a coalition of nations determined to uphold peace and security. These layers together form a comprehensive security architecture, designed not just for today, but to protect future generations of Ukrainians. It's a vision for enduring peace, built on strength and solidarity. Ukraine's future safety will rest on more than hope. It will be anchored in ironclad commitments, shared responsibility, and the unwavering support of its allies. The new guarantees promise to transform Ukraine's military for the long term. No more patchwork aid. Ukraine will get cutting-edge tanks, artillery, air defenses, and modern aircraft, all to NATO standards. Support covers land, air, and sea, ensuring Ukraine can defend every front. Training will expand, with dedicated hubs and facilities inside Ukraine once a ceasefire holds. The UK and France will help regenerate Ukraine's forces, integrating them with allied doctrines. This strategy aims to make Ukraine's military one of Europe's strongest, backed by the world's leading democracies. The message to Moscow: Ukraine will never again be left vulnerable. Deterrence by denial. Ukraine's strength will be its best shield. A credible ceasefire needs real enforcement. The U.S. will lead a high-tech monitoring mission, using drones, sensors, and satellites to track violations and build trust. Allies like the UK and Germany will join, making it a truly multinational effort. Beyond monitoring, the Paris Agreements are a generational promise, a permanent security partnership, not a temporary fix. Plans include a coalition of the willing, potentially with troops training inside Ukraine after a ceasefire. Allies will help Ukraine rebuild its defense industry, making it self-sufficient over time. The goal: Ukraine's security, anchored for generations. The summit ended with strong words from leaders, echoing both hope and caution across the international stage. As the final statements were delivered, the atmosphere was charged with a sense of historic responsibility and the weight of expectations. President Macron called it a historic step for Ukraine and Europe, framing the guarantees as a new foundation for stability. He emphasized that this moment marked not just a diplomatic milestone, but a turning point in the continent's security architecture. Macron urged all parties to remain vigilant and united, highlighting the importance of ongoing cooperation. President Zelensky welcomed the binding pacts, but stressed that real security depends on action, not just words. He expressed gratitude for the support, yet reminded the world that Ukraine's future hinges on the swift and effective implementation of these agreements. Zelensky's message was clear: promises must be matched by concrete steps on the ground. He reminded everyone that the details, troop deployments, financing, and monitoring, still need to be finalized. The complexity of these arrangements means that every commitment must be carefully tracked and fulfilled, with transparency and accountability at every stage. UK Prime Minister Starmer praised the progress, but warned that the hardest work lies ahead as the war continues. He called for unwavering resolve among allies, noting that setbacks are inevitable, but determination must not waver. Starmer's remarks underscored the need for long-term engagement and resilience. The U.S. envoys reaffirmed America's commitment to backstop security, monitoring, and rebuilding. They stressed that the United States stands ready to provide not only military and financial support, but also expertise in reconstruction and governance, ensuring Ukraine's sovereignty is protected for the future. Together, these leaders sent a unified message: Ukraine's allies are serious, but the path from agreement to reality will be tough. The summit showcased unprecedented unity, but also acknowledged the scale of the challenges ahead. Optimism was tempered by realism. Peace is possible, but not guaranteed. The road to lasting security will require patience, sacrifice, and constant vigilance from all involved. The world's support is strong, but the challenges are immense. Ukraine's resilience and the international community's solidarity will be tested in the months and years to come. The summit's legacy will depend on turning promises into action. Only through sustained effort and genuine partnership can hope be transformed into lasting peace and security for Ukraine and the region. The Paris Agreement is just the start. Key questions remain. How big will the multinational force be? Who will contribute? What are the rules of engagement? Legal frameworks must be drafted and ratified by each nation, a complex, time-consuming process. Details on equipment, training hubs, and financing are still being negotiated. The Allies' unity will be tested as they turn vision into reality. President Zelensky and others know that credibility depends on the specifics. The hardest work, making the plan real, begins now. Amid the summit's optimism, Russia's silence looms large. Moscow has yet to respond to the Paris proposal, leaving a critical gap in the peace process. The new security framework is designed to deter Russian aggression, but without Russia's engagement, it remains one-sided. Russia's past positions clash with the summit's plans, especially on NATO troops in Ukraine. The world waits to see if Moscow will negotiate or resist. The Allies hope their united front will force Russia to the table, but until then, peace remains incomplete. The real test of this strategy is still to come. The Paris Agreement is a beacon of hope for Ukraine after years of war. It transforms solidarity into a concrete, long-term plan for security and rebuilding. For Ukraine, it means a future where children can grow up without fear. For its allies, it's a shift from crisis management to proactive defense. For Russia, it's a message: continued aggression will meet united resistance. The road ahead is long and uncertain, with many details still unresolved. But the Paris summit was a bold first step, a promise to build a future where peace is more than a dream. The world now waits to see if this hope can become reality.